All right, can I ask you some questions, Mr. JC?
Sure.
So what like got you into like being passionate about this?
Well, I've always really loved food. I was once 650 pounds.
No way.
Yeah, and in 2015 I had weight loss surgery, dropped 250 pounds. Actually ended up doing a lot of cooking for the back counter at work. I was working at a car dealership, so all the techs come to the back counter to get their parts, and I just put a bunch of food out there. My ex-wife always said I needed to start selling it, and it was like I couldn't really eat like I used to because I used to constantly eat.
Right.
But I could still share it with other people because I still really like the flavor, and eventually that went from, you know, sharing all the food with the techs to I bought a food truck, and that was great fun. Kind of went from there.
I like this. So sorry to interrupt. Misco Mountain. I know that's your last name, right?
Yep.
That's so cool. Did you design that like?
I had it done.
Wait, that's a Reebok shirt?
I put it on here. So I do have shirts on my website that are available.
It's a cool,
but
sick
custom
design.
shirts that are my size do not exist. So I bought a bunch of what do you call them? Heat press.
Iron on?
And pressed them myself.
Looks great.
Yeah, I needed something that was my brand that fit, and I couldn't buy them, so I had to make them.
It looks cool.
But yeah, I really learned how to cook from my grandma, mainly, I would say. My grandma had 9 kids, and all their kids always had friends that was coming around, and even like, you know, I was grown, of course, when they were grown, of course, when I started coming around, because it was a grandchild, but she always had people in the house, you know, aunts, uncles, and so she was constantly cooking. And I remember her saying was, recipes are for people that don't know how to cook. So I always was able to just take whatever's in the cupboard and make something that tastes absolutely great.
Wow. That's cool.
And that was actually the hardest thing for me when I got the restaurant and the food trucks, is getting it the same way every time, because it was always be good. But when people get a restaurant or food truck, they want it exactly the same. So it took me a little while to get used to that.
Yeah.
But with making the videos, I'll be able to make just all sorts of different stuff all the time and just keep it creative instead of having to make the same thing over and over and over again. So I think that'll maintain the level of fun. Yeah. And if you're not having fun, it's not worth doing.
Right?
So today we're gonna make just a super simple recipe for the first thing. It is, you can call them keto chips, pepperoni chips. They're both keto and carnivore because it's all meat. So we're gonna get these like right on the edge of burning. I got the oven preheated to 375. I actually like to turn it up to about 425 before I start, so it really gets all the metal and everything in the oven at the right temperature, and then turn it down to 375. I find that it makes it cook a lot more evenly when you're doing it. We're gonna start here today covering, because I love to cook, but I hate doing dishes. So we are gonna cover the cookie sheets in foil, and then after we cover them in foil, we're gonna put some parchment paper on top of that.
So you can do this on the.
You could do it on the cookie sheet, but then you gotta do dishes. Got that there. All right, and this is super technical. You need to lay these out on a cooking sheet.
Those are big pepperonis.
Yeah, I got them at Costco Business Center,
cool.
which most people don't even know exists, but it was like the original Costco's were all business centers. I grew up outside of Kirkland, which a lot of people don't even know is a town, but Kirkland Signature is because
Kirkland's like the food place?
Costco was originally made in Kirkland. That's where their headquarters is. So Kirkland Signature is really just Costco Signature. But if the original Costco's were all Costco business centers, and they were just geared towards wholesale, they weren't really geared towards the general public coming in. And you can still go to a Costco business center and get more restaurant or convenience store style stuff. Like instead of having to buy the variety packs of stuff where, you know, you get the variety packs of drinks and you like 2 of them, but the other one just sits in the fridge. Right. Where at the Costco Business Center, you can get the whole case of just whatever flavor you want.
Oh, nice. More individualized.
And that's where I got these. They do not have these ones at the regular Costco, but it works just as good with
those look so good.
With the Hormel ones that they do sell at the regular Costco. But when
so you can do this with a regular size?
Yes, but when you do it with the regular size, you got twice as much work because you got to lay out a bunch more. So.
See, you're so smart. And someone like me, I know nothing about cooking, but you know I do keto pretty much all the time. So my mom's done this, but yeah, like to me, everything you've done right now seems so easy. And in my head, I would have thought it would have been so hard to do.
Yeah, this is one of the most simple things you can do, and especially with like a Super Bowl coming up, playoff games, you can eat these, not have to worry. There's 0 carbs in them. It's actually all meat too, so it's not just keto, it's carnivore. So you can eat carnivore stuff. You can eat all carnivore stuff on keto. You cannot eat all keto stuff on carnivore. I did keto for years and it really stopped working for me. And the main reason is because you get lazy doing keto, and there's so many keto snacks that aren't really fully keto.
Right. They say that.
Yeah, it says keto on the package, but they are not. And so you kind of, and the whole reason to do keto is to not snack a bunch. Because everything in keto, even though it's low carb, still has some carbs, where this doesn't have any.
Right.
So you can pretty much eat this all day. It's just protein and fat. So that I was gonna do a 24-hour live stream on my food trucks, because the problem is I've worked in a lot of restaurants. Most restaurants, you really don't want to know what goes on in the back.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So with mine, it's like everything we did was just like you made it at home, just we were making a lot more. Everything we made, everything was clean. I had a sign on my restaurant that says if you wouldn't lick it, you shouldn't be serving food off of it. Because most restaurants are pretty dirty. I had like all of the vendors would have their meetings at my restaurant, which says a lot, because like the dishwasher vendor, they go in the back everywhere. The food vendors go in the back everywhere. And when the food vendors and the dishwasher vendors are eating it at your restaurant, that really, really says something. Because some places are just scared. So we're just gonna throw this in the oven. Takes 8 to 10 minutes depending on your oven at 375. And then we'll be done. Go. All right. 8 minutes later. Probably want to wait for them to cool down a little bit, but they are tasty. We're gonna make some ranch to dip these in, and we'll be all good.
Sick.